DermBiz episode 17. If you're running a private practice, there's going to be situations where there's going to be conflict that needs to be resolved. However, we talk about how there is a line that must be drawn where a patient becomes so unruly that it begins to affect the mental health and the environment in the private practice. So we're going to share an example of this situation that happened with us, how we dealt with it, and some suggestions on how maybe you can deal with those in the future in your private practice. DermBiz episode 17. Let's get started. In this video, we're going to talk about service. It's service, but service at what cost? How much are you willing to pay? When I say pay, I mean pay with emotional currency, pay with time to provide service. We have a 2-person blood pressure raising rule that I have at Lilly Dermatology. If you stress out, severely annoying, raise the blood pressure of more than 2 staff members, it's confirmed that you're probably not a good fit for us. In this video, we're going to talk about service. And I'm going to do that by sharing an experience that I just had with a patient. We had a patient who came in to see us, and when she scheduled the appointment, she scheduled it as a specific spot of concern. She didn't schedule it as a full body skin check. She had some specific spots that she scheduled for. The referral that we received from her doctor coincided with the way she scheduled, that it was a spot of concern. The patient comes and sees us. The patient is out of network, so she has to pay. We don't take her insurance, so she has to pay upfront for her visit. The patient is brought back by the nurse. The nurse does the intake. Again, specific concerns. They talk about the concerns. The nurse goes and briefs the provider. These are the patient's concerns. The provider comes in, sees the patient, addresses the concerns that the patient has. At the end of the appointment, the provider leaves. And then the patient says to the nurse, "Can I get a skin examination, a full body skin check?" The nurse explains that, this is the end of the appointment. We can't do a full body skin exam now. However, you have a 6-week follow-up. During that time, we'll be able to do a full body skin examination. The patient pays, the patient leaves, and then the phone calls start coming. The patient calls and complains. She says that the provider didn't spend a lot of time in the room with her. And not only that, she paid for an exam and she never got an exam. She got no exam. Now, mind you, they did multiple biopsies on this patient. They addressed spots of concern. And they had a 6-week follow-up in regards to some of those biopsies that were performed. The patient is, stresses out our phone person. The phone person sends the message to the nurse. The nurse tries to figure out what's going on. The nurse responds to me frustrated because they're feeling like the patient is not being honest in what exactly happened. And so now it comes up to me. I'm involved now. I call the patient and the patient explains all of their issues and problems, what went on during the process. They never got an examination, how, the provider didn't spend enough time with them, and all of these different concerns. During our phone call, the patient hangs up or the phone is disconnected or something. I don't know what happens. I call the patient back. Patient doesn't answer. Leave a voicemail. The next day, the patient calls again. Now I'm speaking to the patient. I speak to the patient again, talking about the concerns that they have. The patient explains for 5 minutes or so. And then anytime it's my turn to talk and I share something, she cuts me off. Now, what the patient doesn't know is I was actually calling the patient back to find a solution. Possibly they could come back again for a skin check and we, don't charge them, or maybe we charge them a discounted price. I was calling back to try to find a solution that could work with this patient so we could get them what they need and we can do what we're passionate about doing, which is providing excellent service. However, during our conversation, the patient continues to interrupt me. The patient starts to raise her voice. And what's interesting is the patient is calling, trying to get something from us, but yet she's being argumentative and yelling. When I explained to her what the information I got from the nursing staff and the provider, she tells me I'm lying. And then she tells me that the nursing staff and the providers are lying. And it got to a point where I realized my blood pressure was raised. You know, your blood pressure is raised when your heart is pumping, you're breathing more heavily. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not the patient. This is not the kind of patient that I want my team, our team, to have to deal with and work with during a normal workday. I don't want this to be their job to have to deal with this kind of stuff. And so there came a point in time where she's bad-mouthing the provider. She said there was no light in the room. Like, the room was dark, which is weird because our rooms have automatic light, right? When you walk in, the light comes on. She's saying all these different things, right? And so at some point I said, ma'am, I believe it's possible that we may not be a good fit for you. It's probably, if you don't like the service that we provide, it probably doesn't make sense for you even to come back again to come and see us. But what she doesn't realize is I was actually going to authorize a free examination for her. But what we will not do is we have a 2-person blood pressure raising rule that I have at Lilly Dermatology. If you stress out, severely annoying, raise the blood pressure of more than 2 staff members, it's confirmed that you're probably not a good fit for us. Nothing is wrong with you. It's us. It's not them. It's us. But we have a low tolerance for rude people. We have a low tolerance for mean people. We have a low tolerance for people who are disruptive. We have a low tolerance as a staff, and we have a low tolerance in regards to our patients. And so I suggested that she go and see another place. We would be happy to refer her. We'd be happy to do anything we can to assist her as she goes and finds the care that she is looking for. Because obviously, we weren't doing a good enough job providing it. And that brings me to the topic of service. We have a limit. And our limit is the 2-person blood pressure rule. I suggest that you, with your clinic, figure out what your limit is. Figure out what line can a patient not cross and still be seen. And so because of that, we know that a patient probably won't be coming to see us again, and we're okay with that. And we hope that she finds a place that is better suited for her. This is just a rant. This literally just happened 5 or 10 minutes ago, but it just crystallized something that we have talked about, dealt all the time, which is we're not looking for every single patient. We're not looking for everybody. We're not for everybody. And I refuse to put our team in an environment that is toxic because patients are misbehaving. And so I hope that you find what your limit is. And by all means, our focus is by all means, we're going to protect our team. And so I suggest you do the same. By all means, protect your team.
What other specific topics related to the business of private practice management would you like for us to cover? Please share in the comments below or reach out to us on social media or our email address, DermBiz@gmail.com. Our mission is to create a movement of collaboration and support amongst physician-owned private practice owners. If you would like to join that movement, again, don't forget to like, share, comment, and please don't forget to subscribe.